It is a place together for collaboration, experimentation and developing new trajectories in the artistic practice. That's a collaborative residency space between Goethe-Institut South Africa and VANSA titled LAPA. Now, the LAPA space will host numerous programs in the year 2021, including an open call for two artists currently based in South Africa, VANSA's Winter School, and the launch of a new program, Visual Arts, Archiving and Presentation. To tell us more, we joined via Zoom by Tammy Langtry, who is a project manager at the Goethe-Institut. Tammy, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure. First of all, give us a brief background into what LAPA is and how the partnership with VANSA came about.
Yes, the Goethe-Institut and VANSA have worked together previously, and I think last year, particularly under severe lockdown, it was about renewing a sense of partnership, renewing a sense of working together and what that could mean for a new world after lockdown. So this was really something that was being developed for a long time, and I think now is a great moment to remember what being together means. And so LAPA, an idea of home, an idea of belonging and coexisting, really was fundamental to both organizations.
So who is this project aimed at, and why is Brixton the designated location for the project?
Well, the space itself is currently there for the VANSA and Goethe teams to work from. But as you mentioned, we have an open call, which is really a call out to artists to say, what can a welcome mean? If we welcome you into the space, what does that mean for you? What do you need? And, you know, a lot of artists lost studio spaces, they lost working spaces, they lost community, artistic community as well. So we're looking to invite and connect those artists and people again. Brixton being quite important, it has a deep history. It has an amazing creative community there already. And so we are developing partnerships and connecting with people in Brixton to ask the questions of what can a welcome mean.
Let's talk about the intersection of artists, the communities and the cultural organizations that LAPA offers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to think about what those intersections can produce. Creativity and culture is really central to existence. So we're really looking at interesting ways that the community uses the space and vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why are residencies so important for artists and for artisans and art professionals as well?
Absolutely. I think it's a space to think. It's a space to reflect. It's a space to develop new ways of working and invite yourself into new art communities as well. At the moment, we have the open call out to artists based in South Africa, and that's really due to a lot of the strict restrictions we have at the moment. But our intention is really to broaden that and to welcome as far and as wide as the continent. And I think a residency it's about a reboot for your artistic practice sometimes. It's about being accepted. It's about, as I said, new ways of thinking.
Yeah. You know, Tammy, I'm quite curious to know how artistic exchange in the physical space can actually create a sense of home, a sense of homeliness, as it were, a sense of belonging, and as well as neighborliness and community.
I think we're looking at longer-term programs of exchange. So whether those be talks, reading sessions, research groups that come together and think together, exchange their ideas and what they're working on. And we're thinking about immediate communities in Brixton, but also more broadly than that. So we're very excited for what that can produce.
Okay, let's talk about the LAPA Pan-African Artist Residency Open Call and what its requirements are.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, we're really looking at artists based in South Africa at the moment. And there'll be two rounds. So we're looking at 2 window periods from August to November and then from January to April. Artists are asked to read through the open call as well as fill in a form which we're calling almost a contract with yourself and the space. Residencies can be very intimate and personal things where people learn about themselves, they learn about others, and they grow. And so we're hoping that that contract really inspires ways of thinking newly about what that residency could mean for you. New ways of working, new ways of practicing, new mediums and materials that you can experiment with. How can you collaborate with the community of Brixton and invite visitors in? You know, we've really been, in a lot of ways, stuck to our screens as a way of engaging with art and culture. But it's really thinking about the space and how you want to build a public around that.
I mean, this is a process-based residency for artistic research. Do unpack this for us. What does it all mean?
Yes, so residencies can be beautiful things in that it's a journey. You find things out along the way. You meet people that inspire your work. And sometimes when you are kind of focused on one location, being in a new environment will unlock that. So it's process-based in the sense that we do expect an outcome in some way at the end, but you really go through your own process and journey. We have a few people that are supports, whether that be the jury or the team working through the space. But the artist is really welcome to also connect with other projects and programs, like the library, for example, and our reading groups, to experiment and see what kind of processes come out. You might have an artist who's been working in painting for many years and wants to explore a different material or medium. This is really the space to do that and to expand what you do.
Okay, do you want to share more about some of the other programs that will be hosted by LAPA this year?
Yes, absolutely. So it's a wonderful intersection actually between the Goethe-Institut and VANSA's programs. So, for example, VANSA is developing another series of their winter school, which is almost a school in a school. People come together, they eat, they read, they reflect, they talk. We'll also be having what we call library jams. This is a Goethe-generated project that looks at music and the intersections in the library. We're also developing what is called an archiving program, which looks at artistic collaborations and collectives and kind of remembering and developing our own library around those. So there's a lot of programs and things planned, and it's really about producing new knowledge. You know, we sometimes feel limited by the information we have access to or the kinds of stories we tell. So it's really about producing new knowledge in these programs.
All right, Tammy Langtry, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that was Tammy Langtry. She is the project manager at the Goethe-Institut, and she's been speaking to us about a collaborative effort, collaborative residency space titled LAPA. And this new space, as she mentioned, and residency is co-conceptualized to address the need for communal space and art infrastructure.